Hey, what's going on, guys? It's me, Parksy here, your coach of the Armagh Armaldos, bringing back the Smash today here for DGBA Season 7, Week number 1, where your Armagh Armaldos are going to be going against Cav, coach of the London Lycan Rock. And if you do want to go, leave a like on this video, subscribe and comment down below. That will be greatly appreciated. I also have several other videos on this channel, so if you do want to go check them out, they will also be up in my videos list. If you do want to go check some of them out, they all won't be strictly Pokemon related. There are some like Town of Salem, there's some like Magilibs that you guys might enjoy. There's been a bit of sharing about my Magilibs video in the DGBA, so I'm not sure if that's actually people memeing it or if they actually enjoy it, but you never know. But as I said previously, we're facing off against Cav. I believe I've only played against Cav one other occasion, and that was when he had his Nagnadel team that was a loud nasty plot and Draconium Z. And all that shenanigans, so that was super scary. But this time his team is a little bit less overpowered, but still very scary nonetheless, especially versus my team. He has got some very good members that have got some very good matchups versus my team, and it is going to be a very scary matchup. But he has ended up bringing Queen Gyarados, which is his Mega, Cofagrigus, Togekiss, and Gabalion, leaving behind the Serena, Jolteon, Alola Marowak, Porygon 2 and the Avalugg, whereas we have brought our Mega Charizard X, Tapu Koko, Mamoswine, Tangrowth, Quagsire, and Scizor, leaving behind our Hitmonchan, Wigglytuff, Ariados, Regirock, Umbreon, and Latios on the bench for this week at least. So these videos will be up every single week after week 2. This video will be, hopefully, if I actually am a smart boy, will be uploaded 2 weeks after my team recap, and that's basically because Haz gave us 2 weeks, which was very generous of him. Thank you very much, Haz. He gave us 2 weeks as a break for week number 1, just because there's a lot of stuff that's happening with the channel. If you guys don't know, the DGBA channel will be linked down in the description as well. We've been recording stuff such as power rankings. We've also been doing streams. I've been doing interviews on the channel as well, and hopefully there are more to come. So if you do want to maybe meet your new favorite YouTuber or coach in general, then you definitely should go check over there and stay around for the next few days, because I hopefully should be doing interviews, especially because hallelujah, it's the weekend. But as I previously said, we're going to be going against Cav. Now, the Pokemon that I brought is a Dual Stab, Swords Dance, Mega Charizard X, which is very good against this team. We also have got a specially defensive Calm Mind, Tapu Koko with Hidden Power Ground, Thunderbolt, Roost, and Calm Mind, as previously mentioned, with the Electrium Z. We'll go into Tapu Koko in a little bit in a second, there we go. And then next up, we've just got a pretty standard Mamoswine, max attack, max speed, with knockoff, icicle crash, earthquake, and stealth rock, with the soft sand to boost our earthquake damage. Also, its dual stabs are amazing against Cav's team, as you can probably see from the team matchup, and also just in general, Mamoswine's an absolute powerhouse. Next up, we've got an Assault Vest Tangrowth that is primarily physically defensive. However, of course, with the Assault Vest, we've got some pretty good special bulk, which allows us to live stuff like a Psychium Z, what's it called? A Genesis Supernova from Mew. We can also live a Fire Blast from a Timid Mew after Stealth Rocks, and also stuff like Nidoqueen's Sludge Waves and things like that. We have got the knockoff Giga Drain, Earthquake, and the Hidden Power Electric, because we can 2 KO regular Gyarados if he feels like Dragon Dancing in regular form versus me, which I think is definitely a Cav move. And in the electric terrain, we have got about a 40% chance to straight Oko him, and after Stealth Rocks, we just 100% knock him out in the electric terrain, despite him being like bulky or whatever. Then also we've got a physically defensive Quagsire, which is my secondary check to a lot of things such as the Gabalion, and to the Nidoqueen, Mamoswine being my main check. Then it's also a Pokemon that can actually take a hit from Marowak Alola under Trick Room and actually scare it out. That takes by 50% or something, and with the leftovers recovery we ignore the 2 KO. And then finally we've got a Choice Scarf Scizor with Bullet Punch, U-Turn, Superpower, and Defog, which I just felt like putting on the team, especially because that Nidoqueen is at least going to be running Stealth Rocks, and that he can pressure my Charizard X definitely. I am definitely going to have to be bringing, excuse me, I feel like burping a lot, but we definitely are going to be having to bring that hazard removal, especially for keeping our Charizard X, which is one of our main win cons in the back, and also our Tapu Koko. Now, onto, well, as I previously mentioned, our Tapu Koko is running a special defensive set. Now, I was theorizing potentially bringing a Taponium Z Tapu Koko with other stuff like Hidden Power Ground, because we can knock out an offensive Nidoqueen on the switch if it doesn't have the Black Sludge recovery and stuff like that. However, I felt like Calm Mind was a lot better because we can actually 1v1 Nidoqueen if we get a Calm Mind up as he switches, and then get to +2 and then into +3. He cannot knock out +2 into +3 Tapu Koko if he is a defensive Nidoqueen, and if he does not have a if he's not a physical variant. If he's running a defensive Sludge Wave or Earth Power variant like I do expect him to be running, then we will be able to 1v1 that, as well as 1v1 against essentially the rest of his team. We can knock out things like a Battle on a +3, so that's very useful as well. But finally, after 5 minutes of explanation, I'll probably have to put a skip to this part for the battle, but we're going to be going ahead with our lead, and I am probably going to be leading off with my Scizor. I actually do decide to lead off with my Scizor because it is Choice Scarf, and we can U-turn if he leads off with the Mew, and if he is offensive, then I get 80% off. It also allows me to start knowing that if I try and 1v1 it with my X, or if I have to try and 1v1 it with my Scizor coming in with the Choice Scarf, and if I have to essentially sack off something. So I'm going to go out in my Quagsire here because it is I don't want my Tangrowth taking a Fightinium D, because it is my main response to Negative, and that is a super scary Pokemon for my team. But he goes for the Volt Switch, which gives momentum as I decide to go for my Scald here. Just trying to see what his main switching is and trying to scout out some investment. I think it's a lot more important than trying to get a Toxic chip at this point. So he does go out into Cofagrigus. I guess we don't get the Scald, which is good because I can follow up with the Toxic, risking, however, my Quagsire being Toxic. But as I said, Quagsire is a secondary check to quite a lot of Pokemon, and my main checks are far more important. So Quagsire is the most expandable Pokemon on my team, so I don't mind getting shipped down a little bit, especially because it's just there basically just to be a bit of a nuisance versus his team. It was there primarily for stuff like the Marowak and for Toxicking the Avalugg. Its main role in taking those two down isn't there, so it's definitely expandable. So I'm just going to fire off another Scald here because I have recovery and recover, and the best recovery that Cofagrigus gets is either Rest or Pain Split. So knowing now he has got the Toxic and knockoff out his set, as he is going to try and go for the Toxic, expecting my double, but I'm just going to go for the recover here, expecting him to either go into the Togekiss or either expecting him to try and fire off a Never-Ending Nightmare or a Shadow Ball or something along those lines. As Cofagrigus is definitely going to get worn down, so I don't know if he quite switches here. No, I actually go out into Tangrowth as he does go for the Pain Split, because I did expect him to fire off a Shadow Ball or something, and we could easily regenerate that. Then I can go out to my Quagsire and just get the top off in the Cofagrigus, but it does make a good play and goes for the Pain Split, definitely trying to wear down Quagsire. Maybe it is more of a threat than I actually acknowledge, but I am going to go switch out into the Quagsire, getting that regenerator boost on my Tangrowth to 100% and allowing my Quagsire Toxic because it already has been poisoned, as this Cofagrigus is going to get worn down a lot, taking about 30% in terms of toxic damage because it has been on the field for so long. So I am going to fire off a secondary Toxic. There's no reason for him to sack off this Cofagrigus. It is useful in trying to get a Toxic off in this Tangrowth and Pain Splitting against my team, as I go for the Toxic and unfortunately miss. Now, there is one thing that I do want to say beforehand. As you guys know, I haven't done draft leagues in a couple of months, so I just want to pre-reference that. So, I was just going into this battle like, okay, whatever happens, I'm not really going to be too mad. So I missed the Toxic, and I was like, oh well, it's Pokemon. Because I just came back from so much homework, I was like, oh, okay, right, we're gonna go chill. We're gonna play some Pokemon, and whatever happens. Cav's probably gonna destroy me because it's Cav. And he destroyed me in our season 4 game, I believe it was, so it's whatever. So missing the Toxic, I was like, okay, it's whatever. Still would have been nice to wear down the Togekiss, especially if it was a defensive variant, but you know what, it's no worries. So I am going to go switch out here into my Tapu Koko because I can take its Air Slash. I can also take the Dazzling Gleams. I am reading my chat and I was like, oh, unfortunate. So I am going to basically go choose the Air Slash. Tapu Koko is my main switch into this one. So I am going to start Calm Mining up here as he does go out as a Cofagrigus, which I was like, interesting. I thought you might go out as a Nidoqueen, but it does make sense for him just basically to try and sack off his Cofagrigus, getting him the free switch into his Nidoqueen and probably setting up Stealth Box. So he is going to go and get Toxic down. I'm like, wait, I can just win here if I just Calm Mind up. This is going to be great. So I just go for the Calm Mind up the second time, as he does actually reveal the haze, which is very cool. I have to give props to Cat for that. That is a very good prep on his as that is going to negate my essential sweep versus this team, because a +3, if he is the Nidoqueen set like I expect, he cannot beat down my Tapu Koko, especially because a Cabalion's Iron Head does about 40% of this defensive variant. So I'm going to go for the Calm Mind again, expecting him to, if he wants to go for the Toxic, then that's fine, as he is going to go for the knockoff, knowing that I am a Z Pokemon, but Tapu Koko probably was going to be my Z user of choice. Although he did see the Calm Mind, he might have thought that I was some sort of extra belt. But I am a Tapu Koko. I'm deciding to go for the Calm Mind here because this Cofagrigus can just die because Toxic, and if I can get up to +2, that would be great versus this team. I might not be able to knock out the Cobalion, but as I previously mentioned, that Cobalion cannot knock Tapu Koko anywhere near the ranges I'm at. As yeah, I'm just going to fire off a Hidden Power Ground. If he is an offensive Nidoqueen, he'll take about 30% of the switching, which will be nice. But Diana is going to go for the Cofagrigus, so that is a Pokemon that I have not to deal with more. That is probably his best Mamoswine switching, which is now gone, and now he has to really fear my Mamoswine. This series he is going to go out into the Nidoqueen. I know he's going for the Stealth Rocks. I could have maybe tried and won the game there by going for the Calm Mind into +2 into +3, although actually I believe that I couldn't because I took the 22% chip damage. So I'm just going to go into my initial switching, which is my Mamoswine, as he does decide to go out into his Gyarados, which I was expecting. However, the size crash does reveal that he is a pretty standard offensive Gyarados, so I can potentially just go into my Tangrowth and just fire off a Hidden Power Electric and knock this thing out. It also is very nice if he does want to go out into the Togekiss, because I do get a Scout out the damage on it and see if it is a defensive variant or an offensive one. As I previously mentioned, he's going to stay in his regular form and go Dragon Dance, which is fair enough. And I am going to fire off my Hidden Power Electric. I don't see why not. If he does decide to stay in regular and go for something like a Crunch, then yeah. But I go for the Hidden Power. He now knows it's electric because it's not affecting his Nidoqueen, so I'm just going to go right here into my Quagsire. I don't need Quagsire, as I said many times now, and I still kept it around for about these 20 turns. As he does decide to go for the Toxic Spikes, which I thought was very interesting. I thought he was going to run 3 attacks Nidoqueen with stuff like Hidden Power Grass, Dual Stabs, Stealth Rocks, but that even means that he doesn't have Earth Power, Sludge Wave, or as he switches out and shows he is not going to be running the Hidden Power Grass. I should have gone for the Toxic here, but I decided to go for the Scald instead, just because in case he went out as a guard, I felt like 30% chance to burn was a lot more important than getting off Toxic chip damage, especially because I've already got the damage off I need on it for my crucial pieces. But he decides to knock me out with the Dazzling Gleam, not really showing too much because defensive Togekiss could have got that rule. So I decide then to go out in my Charizard X. And I am just going to go Mega Evolve and go and fire off a Dragon Claw, I believe, or do I go for the Roost here? I'm not really too sure, but he does go out into the Gyarados, which is a fair play, but this Gyarados is getting chipped down, which means it cannot be the offensive threat versus me, because it's soon going to be in range of my Scissors Bullet Punch. So I do go for the Roost here because rocks, but I am going to go here and fire off a Dragon Claw, as he actually makes a very good play and goes out into the Togekiss, which I'm kind of like, okay, I'll just go for the stance here. The worst thing you can do is probably go for a Thunder Wave, which still lets me get a kill when I'm at +2, unless Mew is a defensive variant, it might not kill, but he decides to show that he is a offensive Togekiss with the Air Slash, and that was a high roll, and then I believe he gets the mid roll, which again I was like, oh well. This beats revising, so he knocks out my Charizard X here, and this, yes, it was an offensive threat, but Mamoswine I still have, and I still have my Tapu Koko, which I can potentially set up. Although I was definitely undeniably in the back, I still felt alright, as I do go into my Scizor, threatening out the Togekiss, and I get my Defog off, which is great, because it means that my Tapu Koko isn't poisoned. Tapu Koko isn't poisoned, so that means I can actually try and go for the Calm Mind win here, as he does go out and into his Gyarados. Again, going to go out into my reliable switching, which is the Tangrowth. If he doubles out into the Togekiss, great play, but I can always go out into Tapu Koko. So, he is going to go for the Dragon Dance here. I'm just going to go ahead and I believe fire off a Giga Drain. Oh no, yeah, I go for the Giga Drain here this time, expecting him either to go make the switch out again into the Nidoqueen, or either to just stay in and go for the Mega Evolution, knowing that he can easily take it. So I'm going to go fire off the Giga Drain here, as that is going to be range definitely in of my Scissors Bullet Punch. So I am just going to go fire off the Hidden Power Electric here. If he goes into the Togekiss, I get off quite a good bit of damage, and I don't go out into Nidoqueen. If he does, again, Mamoswine's a free play, and he doesn't have that Intimidate anymore, so I'm going to go for the Hidden Power Electric, which does take this Togekiss down into range of my Scissors Bullet Punch, which is very nice indeed. As I'm going to switch out into my Scizor, as proven as he is going to. It might have put me into range of Nidoqueen's Earth Power, or actually it put me into range of a Gyarados' Waterfall, but I'm just going to fire off the bullet punch into the guy, so he decides to sack off, and I'm like, okay, what is this Mew set? A little bit scared, as he does actually decide to go out into the Mew, so I'm like, oh, it's my polish Mew and EMZ, Dazzling Gleam, Fire Blast variant Mew. So he is going to go out into his Mew, as I am going to go switch out my Scizor and go out into my Tapu Koko here. If he does decide to fire off the Psyche MZ, I can go out into my Scizor, U-turn, and get some momentum, as he does decide to show that he is a Calm Mind variant. Now, I'm going to actually go speed up. Actually, no, I fired off the Electrium Z. Okay, right, so I thought that I still had my Electrium Z, but it actually turns out that for some reason I decided to fire off my Electrium Z far earlier than I should have. I'm going to go speed up here, basically because, yeah, this is on fast. Okay, so basically I got the paralysis off in the Mew, and we're basically playing this game where we have to Calm Mind against each other, as instead of killing my Tapu, he decides to go for the Roost. Basically what I was trying to do here is at the very least get his Mew into range of my Scizor's U-turn, which I think he was actually an HP invested Mew, but I still believe in 62% or range that I was trying to get him. U-turn still knocked him out, and I was considering going out into Scizor on several of these occasions. However, if he did get the Roost off and he actually lived, then that meant that they would have lost a lot of momentum. So he is Calm Mind Roosting, and he's like Calm Mind Roost, Psychic, and Dazzling Gleam, which is either Dazzling Gleam and Psychic, which means he has a hard time with Scizor, or he's Psychic and Fire Blast, which means he has a hard time with Umbreon. I think he would be more like a flamethrower variant, just because it hits more of my team than the Dazzling Gleam does. But this happens for a good amount of turns where we're just at Calm Mind battle. He's getting paralysis. I'm getting paralysis. He's getting Spadef drops, and just all this stuff's happening as we're basically trying to stall each other out of PP. I don't really care if I have to hit and Power Ground and he gets a free switch into his Togekiss, but he is going to go out in his Togekiss, say knock out Mew, as whoopsie, as he tries to go for the crit back against me with Dazzling Gleam, which was his best play, but I knock him out, as he is going to go out into Nidoqueen here, as he actually lives a +4 hidden power, a +6 hidden power grind, so that is definitely a defensive Nidoqueen he brought to this game, which I did say, and I said that I am very sorry for that hacks. I did think I played pretty poorly against Mew, and just generally I think I played pretty poorly against this game, which I mean, I haven't played Draft League in several months. It's literally been the TTM Summer Showdown and the DGBA Season 6, which was the last time that I played, which was in the summer, so that was about 3 months ago. That was my last Draft League experience. Yeah, I'm just trying to remove the rust, and I guess this game kind of helped me out with that. I didn't do any mocks for this game. I just again, I've been kind of like, okay, whatever, I'm just going to have fun with this season. I've got too much stress already on my hands. We managed to beat Cav, very hacksy game, starting to get into a bit of a, what was I going to say? I'm starting to get into a bit of like repetition, where my week 1 games just turned into a hacks war. We're halfway through, I'm getting hacks down, and then the other half my opponent gets horribly hacks down, worse than I ever got, and they're like, stop complaining about hacks. But Cav is cool, and I really appreciate that. Again, really sorry for hacking you down, mate, and as I previously said, I hope we can have a better game in the playoffs where it isn't so hacks orientated, or I guess where there just isn't any hacks in general. But that's going to be me. We did 4-0. Well, we'll take the win, even though I feel like we could have played a lot better. But you know, it's just something that we're going to have to, well, that I'm going to have to learn from. It's not you guys' fault. It's just something that we're going to have to learn from. That I'm going to have to learn from. Apologies. Something I'm going to have to learn from. You know, try and think a few times, like, is this really the best idea, and how am I going to win this? But with that said, we are 4-0 against Cav. We are 1-0 in general. So next week we'll be playing against a team that has like